My name is H. John Mejia. I'm an American entrepreneur and business consultant. I've been very fortunate to be involved in the TV and media world, and over the years, I have met, worked with, and interviewed hundreds of people. From billionaire business moguls to top political figures to movie stars, celebrities, and superstar athletes. Yeah, those who are on top of their game. I've always had a passion for meeting people and learning about their story and life journey to get deeper insight about who they are and what they did to achieve their success. That's why I was inspired to create this show, to feature top entrepreneurs and business people, to share with you their stories so we could all learn from. So get ready to enter the zone with the Business Zone TV show, right here, right now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Business Zone TV show. I'm your host, H. John Mejia, and my guest today is a celebrity sports agent and also a best-selling author. Let's take a look. Darren Prince grew up in Livingston, New Jersey, and started a mail-order company selling baseball cards at the age of 14. By age 20, he was a self-made millionaire. He became an industry leader in private autograph signings for sports and celebrity memorabilia. A-list celebrities like Muhammad Ali, Magic Johnson, Pele, Joe Montana, Smokin Joe Frazier, Dennis Rodman, Chevy Chase, Pamela Anderson, Carmen Electra, and Jenny McCarthy all worked with him. In 1996, he founded Prince Marketing Group and represented athletes and celebrities for marketing deals consisting of endorsements, licensing, television, movie, and book deals. Superstar celebrities like Hulk Hogan, the late Evel, Knievel, and Burt Reynolds, Scottie Pippen, and Motley Crue frontman Vince Neil, among many others, also signed with Prince for representation. Now, if you ask him for his biggest and most important accomplishment, he would tell you that it's being sober. His new book, Aiming High, with foreword from Magic Johnson, details his ride up with famous stories along the way, as well as his ride down, with never-before stories where he honestly shares his story of attaining fame and success, yet still being held back and struggling within the dismal dark world of addiction. Darren Prince is a true entrepreneur, not only continuously reinventing himself and his business over the years, but now traveling the new pathway of recovery for the last decade and helping so many others along the way. He's been featured in ESPN, the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, USA Today, CNBC, and a variety of other media outlets. I had this exclusive chance to sit down with him at the Tampa Airport Marriott on his travel layover to Miami and find out more about his incredible journey of celebrity entrepreneurship success, the new book, and the awesome power of his recovery. Talk about your agency. What exactly does your agency do? Because what you do really rocks and rolls, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. We've been representing athletes and celebrities for over 25 years now. We specialize in endorsements, corporate appearances, keynote speeches, licensing deals, autograph signings, grand openings, book deals, TV shows, a little bit of everything.
Maybe convert that a little bit. Give me a couple of different scenarios. I know I just recently saw Magic and Burt together. You were doing a big promotion. Give me a couple of different examples, real life examples with some of your clients and some of the your work in action.
A couple months ago, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson were at the Hard Rock Casino for an exclusive event for 500 VIPs. Never happened before, first time ever. A few years back, Hulk Hogan did his Radio Shack Super Bowl commercial. Dennis Rodman's done the wonderful Pistachio campaign. He's done the Foot Locker campaign. We had Carmen Electra shoot a spot 2 days ago for Tubi, which is coming out, I think, in about a month.
Celebrities, the world, Madison Avenue, advertisement, corporations. All right, take me back in time. How did Darren Prince get started and start as an entrepreneur? Where was the vision to get into this business that you got involved into?
So I started a baseball card company at 14 years old, and I wasn't the best student. And my father challenged me one day when I asked him to get insurance on my baseball cards. He couldn't believe that they were worth so much. So I asked him for about 8 or 9 worth of insurance. And he goes, I'll get you $1,000 worth of insurance just in case the house ever gets a flood. I said, no, Dad, I'm pulling on a shirt, 8 or 9,000. And he looks at me like I'm crazy. So he asked me, how can I sell? 1984.
Okay.
And when Don Mattingly and Darryl Strawberry were the biggest things in baseball. And he challenged me, and I had an ad for a baseball card show. Me and my friend Steve Simon, who now runs my agency with a few other guys, we split the table. It was like $15 each, and I spent 2 weeks every single day after school making sure I was gonna have the most beautiful, meticulous display you could ever imagine. Now I put the collection together because I had 4 different jobs. When all my friends thought cards were corny and they weren't cool anymore, I didn't think they were corny. I thought they were very cool. So I bought everybody's collection. And $20 here, $40 here. And I made over $1,000 on that Sunday afternoon selling baseball
As a
cards.
14-year-old.
And the light bulb went on.
Holy smoke.
My head, my dad's head. And like I said, I wasn't the best student, but I knew something special was happening.
All right, so transition me from there, Dan, as far as now the baseball card business, and there's also Gary V in New York who started baseball cards. So I'm hearing
Good
a
friends,
similar,
we talk about it all the time. I was just with them at the
story.
National a couple months ago in Chicago.
Incredible. So now transition me to the sports celebrity agency business and go take me to that process. And then, do you remember your first deal, your first client, your first gig? And
Of course.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I would.
So there was a transition period for about 3-4 years in between. I started a company called Prince of Cards, which was a leader in autograph signings for athletes and celebrities. Through that business, I developed relationships with a lot of the clients I represent now. The biggest was Magic Johnson. Also had Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier, but getting to Prince Marketing Group, when I got out of that industry and I sold that company, Magic became my first client when I started my agency.
And you met him from your card business?
I met him from the autograph business.
From
I used
the autograph
to book all his
business.
autograph signings.
Okay, so what was it like when you approached him? You had now Prince Marketing Group. What was that pitch to Magic like the first time you get doing business with him with Prince Marketing Group?
You know, I was at a low in my career, believe it or not.
You were at a low?
I was at a low.
Just
I wrote
getting
about
started
it in my
with
book,
the
Aiming
agency?
High. I got in some trouble, legal trouble with the FBI in the autograph business and lost all my money. First time in my life I was in debt. And Magic believed in me. And Magic said that I know all about making mistakes because he just came off of what he had to deal with the whole HIV announcement. And he's like, but I know you're going to make lemonades out of lemon. And you're a good guy. And I love you and I love your family. And you're a hard worker. And he goes, what's your next vision? And again, because of my late father who pushed me, that life is about who you know, not what you know. I thought I needed to be a lawyer. He goes, you know everybody that lawyers want to know. Ask Magic to be your first client. And we were in a hotel room in Detroit, Michigan. I remember I was nervous as hell.
Were you?
He called me.
And
into
you already
his
knew
hotel
him, but
suite.
you
I
were,
was
so you were
25 years.
you were getting the butterflies.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was 24, 25 years old, and he sat me down at this big conference room table. I felt like I was with the king, and he's like, "This is a great vision. You have any idea who wants to be your, who do you want for a client?" And it's one of those moments in life where I took a big deep breath, and I was like, "You got to ask him. You got to ask him." I was like,
man.
Magic, I'd love for you to be my first client. And at the time, him and Lon Rosen, who was a mentor, his longtime player rep, was out on his own, and they were still working together. But he's like, you know what? I'm going to give you a shot. Do you have a good entertainment lawyer? I was like, I don't know any. He goes, well, you better find one because I'm going to give you 2 years to represent me. But if you don't use my name to bring in all the big celebrities you can, Darren, I'm going to fire you before the 2 years is up. Because it's not how successful I become. I'm going to be successful. It's how successful I make you and everybody else around me. It's a domino effect in life. And when I left his hotel room and I heard that, I was thinking, did he just tell me to exploit him? Which is unheard of in the entertainment industry, where athletes always feel exploited.
Leveraging their
Celebrities
name, right.
always feel exploited.
Right.
Musicians always feel exploited. And that's exactly what he told me to do. Within 6 months, I had Chevy Chase, Smokin Joe Frazier, Pamela Anderson, and Dennis Rodman was my fifth.
Holy smoke! So when you walked out of that, and then Magic's on board with you, and then how would you leverage that? So when you make let's go to Smokin Joe or other celebrities. What would be the pitch there? What would you transition now? Kind of take me back in time. I know it's 25 years ago, but try to remember.
No, I remember. Like yesterday, it was very strategic. I had a lot of other mentors that opened up those doors. My friend Jeff Hamilton introduced me to Harlan Werner, who was Muhammad Ali's agent. So I developed a relationship with Harlan for doing autographs. He's like, you have to go get Joe Frazier as a client. And I was like, okay, why? He's like, because at some point we're going to get Ali and Frazier together. They don't like each other, but Darren, the big players, it might take us 10 or 15 years. But we're going to get these two kings of kings in a room one day, and it's going to be historic. He goes, I don't know if money's going to be made, but it's going to be historic, and maybe there will be money made. I was like, wow, I did some research, and I was like, these guys hate each other. This is like a crazy rivalry. And the weirdest thing, I did an autograph signing with Muhammad in San Francisco at the Labor Day weekend show, and I was just transitioning out of the business. I just started my agency, and at 1 o'clock in the morning, I had my brand new puppy, Tyson, the Shar-Pei. I see Joe Frazier coming in the front door. A week earlier, Harlan mentioned to me about Joe Frazier being a client. It was like a sign from God. Walked over to him, told him what I did. Oh, Magic Johnson, yeah, man. Oh, you work with the Butterfly?
Oh,
you got to take my number. We'll make a lot of money together. 2 weeks later, I was down at the gym with him and Marvis, and I signed him as a client.
Oh, my goodness. So just from what I understand right now, the power of the relationship, the credibility, Magic loved you, cared about you, became a client, and then leveraging that opportunity, and you built that Rolodex.
Yep.
Wow, like what you said, I like what you said. Not what you know, it's who you know. And so as you built, we'll talk about the addiction in your book and the challenges from that. That's a whole segment by itself. But with building your business, what were some of the key strategies, leveraging the relationships, name, and you produce for some big names, and then you're golden. But what other things and strategies you use, Darren, to execute to build your business, to build your agency as you did?
You know, a lot of it early on, believe it or not, even with those clients, a lot of it is smoke and mirrors when you're in that startup mode, because you have to trim the expenses, you have to have the image that you guys are successful, you have to dress the part, you have to act the part. If you don't know something, don't think you know it. Surround yourself with people that are more successful, that can teach you from their experience, that you learn from years of their pain, years of their financial hardship, so you save all that for yourself. And that's what I started doing. I just surrounded myself with people that I looked as mentors in the industry, that I just became a sponge. And within like a few weeks after signing Magic, I remember my dad humbled me. I've talked about this in the book. I hired a publicist, and just like that, I was in Page 6, super agent Darren Prince signs Magic Johnson.
Oh,
and I go, Dad, look at this. I bring the paper. There was no internet back then. My dad goes, explain something to you. You're not the super agent. He's like Superman. That's why they're calling you that. So I started like understanding it's the power of media, it's the power of surrounding yourself with people that know a lot more, and really just leveraging these guys to elevate our brand.
Take me to a place. You've already shared some tremendous stories in terms of like wow moments, and you've got books of wow moments. Take me to a moment where maybe that moment you're saying, I just can't, like sometimes you pinch yourself and say, I cannot believe I'm doing this, I'm working with these guys. Do you have like a moment you can refer back to besides the Ali Frazier, which is monumental, but some moments that you're saying, wow, I have arrived? And did that come like 5 years later, 10 years later? Because I know you're working on your 25th anniversary with your agency. Is there a couple of moments you can maybe refer back to and say, wow?
Yeah, probably I would go to around 1997, 98, a few years into the business, when Sports Collectors Digest, which was the Bible of the collectibles industry, a gentleman by the name of Hugh McAloon called me, and the whole industry knew I landed on my feet, and I turned things around, and I had Prince Marketing Group, and they called Magic because eBay was a fledgling little company that nobody knew of, that sponsored the convention in Hawaii, that wanted Magic to be the keynote speaker. I never booked a keynote speech in my life. I booked Magic. It was the first keynote ever. And when I walked into that room, he knew that, a lot of people, a lot of haters early on were happy what happened to me, because it's just the way the world is. But he was always so proud to walk side by side with me and show these dealers, these guys that, were nowhere near an agent status, selling collectibles and whatnot.
How critical was that for you, for your self-confidence, your self-worth, to be standing by you?
It meant everything, because I remember walking in and all these industry leaders, licensing leaders, not just collectibles, the Nikes, all these brands were there, and I was the guy that booked it, and I'm shoulder by shoulder with Magic Johnson. It was just the ultimate
they could have been dogging you. Now they could have been dogging you with your past.
And now it's not dogging. The same people are coming over to me begging me if they can get a picture with Magic. If them and their girlfriend, and them and their business partner, them and whoever can shake Magic's hand and get a picture. And I remember dealing it the right way. I didn't have any ill will. I just I knew I arrived. I knew at that point something special happened, that God put me exactly where I was meant to be.
What sense of relief was that? Was that any burden of any, feeling bad, reflecting back, mistakes, and then here you've kind of risen up again from the ashes the way you did? I mean, what did that do for your confidence?
It did a lot. I mean, just to 3 years earlier have a situation with the FBI where I lost everything, and now here I am, the man next to the man, or the man behind the man. It was tremendous.
What would you say some of your key attributes are? And abilities from, what is it? From organizational, from management, from a sales, what makes some of the key abilities that you have that has helped you generate the success you had with your agency?
On a business level, I'm relentless.
Relentless?
I'll still wake up once or twice in the middle of the night I try to stay away from the phone as much as possible. I did this little technique that Jay Shetty was talking about leaving it in the kitchen, which I'm getting a lot better quality sleep, but my brain just doesn't stop. And a lot of that came from my father, come from being around guys like Magic. The next day after the Burt Magic event, never happened before. It was beyond epic. We're on the phone at 9 in the morning, cheering about the night before, 5 minutes in. What other venues are you going to call? What other casinos? What other corporations are we going to go after? That's my mentality.
Yeah.
Just don't stop. Now what's next?
Hey, don't go anywhere, because the Business Zone TV show will be right back, right after this quick commercial break. In the Zone TV has the experience to handle your project from concept to completion and deliver compelling video communication that grabs audiences' attention.
Together, we can create a visual message that can dramatically improve your bottom line.
In the Zone TV, video production with marketing power. Welcome back to the Business Zone TV show, which is sponsored by In the Zone TV. When you need video production with marketing power, be sure to check out their website at inthezonetv.com and by hjohnmejia.com. If you're looking to take your business to the next level with cutting-edge media, marketing, and sales strategies, be sure to check out hjohnmejia.com, hjohnmejia.com. So let's pick it up now from what other attributes that's made you so successful with your client base. We talked about the first one, the drive. What's the second one you want to talk about?
It's the personal relationships, and a lot of that came from my dad. It's always about the business being second. We have such a deep, caring love and respect for one another, whether it's Dennis Rodman that's in trouble or dealing with personal stuff. I'll spend hours with him on the phone. On the way here, I'm texting with Carmen, Electra about some stuff, life stuff. Every Thanksgiving religiously, the first 2 texts in the morning I get, Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, wishing me a happy Thanksgiving. And there's not a phone call in 10 years I haven't hung up with Hulk or Rick not saying I love you. Charlie Sheen and I texting on the airplane about something we have this weekend, and it's always love you, XOXO, hearts. It's just something very special, and like I said, I think a lot of that came from my dad. Magic Johnson, obviously, I can go on and on about.
Yeah. So you think basically, from what I'm understanding, is that the relationship, the love and the passion, it's genuine, because a lot of times these celebrities and athletes are someone's trying to exploit them. You're coming from your heart, so that's a critical element to build. You've helped them be successful.
Personal relationships.
Yeah. You've made that evident with the relationship from Magic and starting your business and then growing it. So your drive, the passion, there would be another attribute that would that you would add to integrate your personality.
Yeah, I also think I know what I'm great at and I know what I'm not good at. And I think that's a very key for.
And so how do you handle that? What you kick ass at and then you're not, how do you try to manage that?
The stuff that I know I'm not good at, I bring in the right people that are better than I, that know a lot more than me.
You don't try to go in and double down.
I listen a lot more than I speak. And I've always been a big believer in the fact when you surround yourself with people more successful than you, you learn from their mistakes and you gravitate to their success.
All right. So instead of doubling down and trying, hey, I'm going to go work on this, you know what? Let me just double down on my strength and get people to support your weaknesses.
Exactly.
Okay, good. But from a business standpoint, how did you handle adversity? You talked about being a startup in terms of perception versus reality, managing, budgeting. Talk about some trials and tribulations during the agency's time. You're kind of smiling, maybe you have a few. And then how did you handle that and how did you overcome it?
So I remember being with Magic in Atlantic City, probably 1996, and he knew I was in debt. He even suggested maybe speaking to a bankruptcy lawyer. My pride just wouldn't let me do it. That was after I got in trouble with the memorabilia situation with the FBI, and he said to make us luck, cut the overhead. You don't need anybody working for you right now.
Okay.
He's like, you got this great voiceover system that he knew. I had him, Pamela Anderson, Joe Montana, Smokin Joe Frazier, Chevy Chase. They all did these great little greetings for Prince Marketing Group. And he goes, you can call the biggest agency in the world, nobody's going to be as impressed. Drive those messages back to your voicemail. Everybody's going to call, they're going to think it's a big legit company. And you just sit in your house and little by little, you crank out every deal until you get back on your feet.
So you were basically outsourcing, you kind of like created the perception and you were able to build that from and leveraging the relationships that you have.
When you would call my voice system, we still have a bunch of them on now, and you heard Joe Montana talking about his Super Bowl drives, and when he associates himself with the best, it's Prince Marketing Group. When Chevy Chase talks about being a professional, there's nobody else he aligns himself with than Prince Marketing Group. And then you got Magic Johnson saying, I only partner with the best, Prince Marketing Group. And I use that. People had no idea that I was probably borrowing $400 to $500 a week just so I can eat at that point.
Wow.
From my friends.
And that was your drive and commitment to what we were doing.
Yep.
All right, let me wrap up the business section. I can go on here with some great stuff, great information that you're sharing with us. But with the digital age now, I can only imagine back in your day, right? Faxes or phone calls, right? To be able to pitch. Today, everybody's out there in the digital world. How has it changed your business and your agency dealing with this new mode of operating in the digital world that we deal with?
It's unbelievable. Carmen, Electra, and I were on the set yesterday doing a commercial for Tubi, which is I guess a poor man's Netflix. And the commercial, it's all digital. The whole thing's digital.
Yeah.
Nothing for TV anymore.
Yeah.
Everything now is about social media. Social media is so valuable that a lot of my clients don't do it unless there's extra compensation within a contract, or because that's their voice. I mean, it's, a single tweet from Magic Johnson is such impressional valuable. Something from Charlie Sheen, who's got 12 million followers, love him or hate him, whatever you think of him. It's got tremendous value. Right? He sent something out and 12 million turns into 50 million with the search engine optimization. And it's a whole different ballgame, because years ago it was about the video shoots, the talk shows, and completely changed now because of social and digital.
Hey, don't go anywhere, because the Business Zone TV show will be right back, right after this quick commercial break. In the Zone TV has the experience to handle your project from concept to completion and deliver compelling video communication that grabs audiences' attention.
Together, we can create a visual message that can dramatically improve your bottom line.
In the Zone TV, video production with marketing power. Welcome back to the Business Zone TV show, which is sponsored by In the Zone TV. When you need video production with marketing power, be sure to check out their website at inthezonetv.com and by hjohnmejia.com. If you're looking to take your business to the next level with cutting-edge media, marketing, and sales strategies, be sure to check out hjohnmejia.com. hjohnmejia.com. Enough about the business side. Great stuff, great information. Let's transition now to the challenges side, the addiction. I want to frame this up. Like, where did it start? Was it alcohol, drinking, kind of progression? You just didn't wake up into an addict, or challenges. Kind of help me through that process and kind of take me on that journey with you if you can, Darren.
It started when I was young. I'd say 10, 11 years old. I always had a lot of anxiety. I was classified as having severe learning disability. Really did a number on my self-esteem, my self-confidence. I remember being in classrooms with 5 or 6 kids, and I'd walk by and see all my friends, 50 kids in a class, but I was in this small class, and I just knew something was different about me.
Oh, in a special ed class?
Yeah,
and so that right away, okay.
Exactly, I couldn't process things. I remember in 2nd grade, I was on the red group, and the red group was for slow readers at 6 years old.
Okay.
So I think, even though consciously you're not thinking about it, subconsciously it's going somewhere within your core.
As a kid, you're not aware of it until now you're able to.
So when I had my first experience was at sleepaway camp. I had horrible stomach pains one night. And
that was just the anxiety of, you were constant anxiety. Was it around people or just?
It was around people. I was feeling less than, never feeling a part of. I was feeling different, deeply insecure, never confident in myself. And I had friends, which was a little bit of a weird contrast, because I had guys and girls that wanted to hang out with me, but I just never felt worthy.
Yeah.
And so when I was in sleepaway camp this one night with horrible stomach pains, I asked the counselor to go to the infirmary that I was healed over. I was like, I don't know what's wrong. And this nurse, her name was Greta, gave me this green liquid in a clear cough syrup cup, and I took it, and I almost gagged, and it tasted horrible. And 5 minutes later, I'm walking across the softball field, and my life changed forever. I remember just looking up at the sky, I felt like Superman, saying, wow, I need this 24/7, whatever this is.
Wow.
I need to. Wow.
And what did it make you feel like when you took that, Darren?
Superman. All those insecurities, all the inferiorities, like I say when I do my keynotes, went away like that. I felt whole. I felt just as smart, just as good looking, just as popular, just as funny, just as cool. And I got back to the bunk, and the guys are laughing with me, not at me. I had the courage for the first time to go to the bunk next to me that had all the girls in it, and I was the flirty, funny guy for the first time. Went to bed thinking nothing of it. The next day, did all my activities, and that very next night, I'm lying in the bunk, and I'm looking up at the sky saying, that feeling was amazing last night. And as a 14-year-old, I conned the counselor and the whole camp. I look at the counselor, and I said, man, my stomach is killing me. I got to go back again. I did this for 3 straight weeks until my mom and dad came for visitation day and found out I was taking liquid Demerol that the nurse was giving me.
Holy smoke. For 3 weeks.
3 weeks. I was on top of the world.
14 years old. Okay. Where do you go from that transition?
Well, when I speak, I get a lot of oohs and ahs from big audiences, and people call me over that nurse or that. Don't blame the nurse, because this would have happened anyway. Don't blame my parents. I don't believe it's genetic. I believe that it's more of a personality disorder that comes with addiction. I believe there's deep-rooted issues by us not speaking our mind, not speaking our truth, not having the courage to speak up to say we feel different. And that's why kids are my favorite audience to speak to, because I never want them going down the road Darren Prince did. I had every opportunity to tell a guidance counselor or a teacher or my mother or my father or my sister or a friend. I chose not to. And 3 months later, I was at a dentist appointment in Livingston. And I got my
So when you came off the debt, right, so after the 3 weeks, so what did you do?
I remember I was devastated for a few days because the
anxiety came back?
Yeah, the anxiety
You're back
came
to
back.
where the old you is back.
You know, it was interesting because a lot of the kids I made friends with while I was on top of the world thought I was cool. They thought, you know, this is that cool guy. And I made friends, but again, I never felt worthy of being around them. And these girls thought I was like the popular one. And I felt like a completely broken piece of crap. And so 3 months later, when I had a dentist appointment, having no idea what these white pills were that my mother gave me when I came back after getting 2 wisdom teeth removed, feeling came right back. Now I'm in the bed, I'm calling on my boys. This is unbelievable, holy crap. I got my baseball card business at the time, I'm making money.
Wow.
A couple $1,000s every weekend, which was unheard of in 1984 as a 14-year-old. And it was a recipe for disaster. And same thing, I ran out of the pills 3 days later, go downstairs to my mom, I can't go to school. I put on the crocodile tears, I have an infection. We have to go back to the dentist. Dentist wrote another prescription for 3 more days.
Wow.
For the next 5 or 6 years, you name it, I did it. Drugs, alcohol, I had access to money. I'd buy painkillers, you know, however I had to get them. No repercussions whatsoever until I was arrested 4 times at 21 years old.
Okay, let me back up. So you're going through this whole, so you're functioning through school interactions, you're functioning and you're going through this addiction that you have since as a youth, and wow. Did anybody challenge you along the way and say, hey, wait a minute, what's going on here?
No, because do you have any idea what it was to be back then? Like Gary Vee, it's like, I'm saying it humbly, but it's the truth. I was one of the OGs of the baseball card business. I mean, David Greenhill, Mark Murphy, Alan Rosen, may he rest in peace, Mr. Mint, who was the king. We were the media magnets. I mean, I was written up in USA Today, Sally, Jesse Raphael. People see all this. And deep down inside, I'm still that broken piece of crap learning disability kid, but I'm believing every single thing that everybody's kissing my ass. And my Jewish family, my son's making $200,000 a year as a 16-year-old selling baseball cards. Barry Halper, the biggest collector in the world, is one of my mentors. He lives 10 minutes down the street from me. I remember 3 of the ESPN anchors were clients of mine, Keith Olbermann. I mean, how is somebody going to challenge me? You know?
And so basically, are you able to justify in your mind the head, you're here, and then whatever you're doing to make you feel good, you wanted to keep that machine going, basically?
And it made me smarter, giving my creativity for all my advertising, my marketing gimmicks, and so I needed it.
Go now into Prince marketing. As you're going now and developing that business, as you're now going into your 20s, early 20s, working with Magic at a bigger level now with celebrities. Talk about that, and what was your drug of choice, and then was it every day? Kind of take me through that journey through the 90s, if you can, Darren.
Okay, so I had Prince of Cards, which was the memorabilia company. So when I was doing the autograph things, I was still dabbling with drugs. You know, marijuana and some other things, opiates always. But when I got out of that and I started Prince marketing, Magic was my first client, that was it. That's when I stopped.
You stopped.
Conscious decision? Completely, and I said, you know what? I beat the system again. I had started getting sciatica. I somewhat had an addiction to steroids at that time, so I had a lot of physical ailments. A lot of x-rays, MRIs, and I realized that I can get opiates from doctors without getting them illegally, and it's not an illegal drug. I remember my agreement with Magic and Joe Frazier, they had these morality clauses, they were called. Talked about all this stuff, illegal drug use, and I go, no, I'm not going near this. I have an opportunity of a lifetime right now. My first 4 clients were Magic, Chevy Chase, Pamela Anderson, Joe Frazier. I'm not going to screw this up, but I'm going to go to doctors to get what I really need to get. And it worked. It worked. For 5-6 years, I was a highly functioning opiate addict.
At any time, did any of your celebrity clients realize what was going on, or was that completely a mask to everybody? What was
Nobody had any clue.
No clue?
No clue.
Wow.
those first 5 or 6 years, it worked so well. Again, when I speak, I say that often. I look at it that was once living to use turned out to using to live. And I do not know when it turned. Magic and I had a talk in 2006. I remember his publicist, Tammy, at the time, was trying to get in on our phone call. He was at the W Hotel. I was at my place in New Jersey. I was going through just a terrible time in my life, and I came clean, and I told him what was going on. And he's a man that is so on time for everything in his life. He's early, and he was late to an interview. And I saw Tammy at my book release party about a year ago, and I gave her a hug. I go, I got to tell you a story. When you were calling him, that was the first time I was accountable, and I told somebody what's going on.
So when you told Magic, what did he say to you? What was
he was devastated and scared, and said, man, you got to get a hold of this. I don't want to lose you. I don't want this messing up our business relationship. I know too many people that have suffered from addiction, and you got too much to live for. You know, and here I am at 36 years old at the time, and you know, get a king like him that did so much for me. It still took me a year and a half. A year and a half after that call to get clean.
A year and a half. So what? You would go clean and then go back?
I wound up going on Suboxone, which is like methadone, which
Okay.
was an opiate blocker.
Okay.
And then I'd come off it, I'd go back on the opiates, and it was hell.
And what was that hell like to your clients and your business associates? Did they know what was going on and that whole journey, and how was Magic and your other clients?
The only other one that knew was Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
And Terry and I are so close that it bothered him badly. He knew, especially being in that world with the wrestlers, with all the issues those guys had, and he would try talking to me and just, brother, look at me, and it was tough.
Wow. So a year and a half. So what was the key point that made you click a year and a half? What changed that made you be able to stick with that? What was the key thing? Was there a mindset? What was something you were doing? What clicked now it worked?
That, without making it religious, I could say it's my God moment, or my spiritual awakening. July 1st, 2008, my uncle and his then girlfriend Andrea were visiting my mom in New Jersey, and they were both in the 12-step fellowship for recovered addicts and alcoholics. And I didn't know she was coming by my house. I never met her before. I had a plan to detox that following week at a hotel suite with some nutritionists and some vitamin people and some psychologists. And my office, I kept saying, I'm too busy, I can't go to rehab. But we put together this whole plan, and she never saw me before. I was bloated, white, I just looked like death. And she's like, are you okay? She goes, I don't want to be rude, I never met you before. I told her, it's the third person. I said, no, I'm not. And she goes, what's wrong? I told her everything. She goes, do you realize you're an addict and your life's becoming manageable? I said, yup. She goes, do you realize you're powerless? I said, 100%. She told me words I'll never forget. She goes, do you realize that addiction does not discriminate? It does not care if you're from Yale or jail or Park Avenue or Park Bench. I said, yup. And my uncle goes, and you're ready to check your ego? Because this doesn't mean anything. He goes, because you don't mean anything.
Right.
And she goes, I can get you clean. Are you willing to do what I'm willing to tell you to do? I said, absolutely. And she put me on a 48-hour detox plan, and that very next night, I was in New York City with my then wife. I was married, and I came back from the gym, and I'm shaking, I'm trembling. It's July 2nd, 2008, I'm shivering, and I come back up, and I pick up the phone. I said, I can't freaking do this anymore. I said, I'm calling the freaking doctor to get what I really need to get. And my uncle picks up the phone because it's the goddamn disease talking, Darren, you got to get to a 12-step meeting. Internet was around then. You got to go online and find one. You're in New York City. Put in a 12-step meetings and put your goddamn hand up and tell these people you're sick, you're suffering, and you need help. I said, there's no freaking way. Hung up the phone, I ran into the bathroom, and me and my now ex thought that we cleaned out every medicine cabinet, but I was taking these non-narcotic anxiety pills, and out came 2 Vicodins, which was one of the 3 opiates I was addicted to. I thought they were the non-narcotic anxiety pills. And for a split second, it felt like a gift from God. I said, oh, thank God, this is what I need. This is exactly what I needed. And then the miracle happened. Because I looked up and I was like just shaking. And I said to myself, I said, I can't do this anymore. And I never had this moment before in my life, and never had it since. I fell on my knees. And I remember shutting my eyes with tears rolling down my face. I said, I'm begging you. I said, I can't do this. Take the money, take the notoriety, the recognition for a single freaking day of freedom. And I heard a voice, and I had this warmth on my right shoulder. Every time I tell the story, I still feel it. And I heard, in this year that I've got you when you're ready. And I stood up, first time ever. I flushed the pills, came out in the living room, went online. I didn't remember how it happened, but I'm in a taxi cab. 10 minutes later, looking up at the sky saying, holy crap. For the first time in my life, I wanted to stay sober more than I wanted to get high. And I walked into a church basement on 78th Street, about 150 to 200 addicts and alcoholics with no shame. They said, is anybody new? I put my hand up and I just spilled my guts out to all these people. I said, I'm sick, I'm suffering, I'm suicidal. I said, I need your guys' help. And probably a dozen men came over to me that I never met and said, we got you. We've been there. And that was it. What I thought was my bottom turned out to be my beginning.
Wow. Hey, don't go anywhere, because the Business Zone TV show will be right back, right after this quick commercial break. In the Zone TV has the experience to handle your project from concept to completion and deliver compelling video communication that grabs audience's attention.
Together, we can create a visual message that can dramatically improve your bottom line.
In the Zone TV, video production with marketing power. Welcome back to the Business Zone TV show, which is sponsored by In the Zone TV. When you need video production with marketing power, be sure to check out their website at inthezonetv.com and by hjohnmejia.com. If you're looking to take your business to the next level with cutting-edge media, marketing, and sales strategies, be sure to check out hjohnmejia.com, hjohnmejia.com. How do you manage it? So from 2008, now it's what, 10 or 11 year journey?
11 and a half years.
Because I did see on Facebook you're posting with that, so I saw that. So talk about that journey and the challenges. Has it been easy, challenging moments?
You deal with life on life terms. I dealt with divorce. I've lost Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Evel, Knievel, Burt, Reynolds in sobriety, clients that I love near and dear. But you learn how to suit up and show up for life without picking up a substance. You become spiritually healthy.
What are 2 or 3 things that you do? Is it faith, meetings?
Everything to me is my meetings, my 12-step meetings.
Even today.
And speaking engagements and being affiliated with Banning Treatment Centers, which is the largest privately owned rehab center in America, is everything to me. I've got my own call center number, which is 8886-DARREN, where people can call, they take messages, and I can call up people that are struggling, and if they don't have the financial means, we get them in on a scholarship.
So with the book, the publisher, and that whole process
and journey. So I wound up meeting with Anna David from Light Hustle Publishing, and she's a very well-known recovery advocate, and she has maybe 18, 19 years in recovery, and we met for lunch one day at her office. And when I told her my story, she's like, do you know what I do outside of like being a keynote speaker? And I was like, no. And she's like, I publish books. And she goes, your story is amazing. Would you be interested in publishing it? I was like, It's like, I'm not really want to talk about my professional life. She goes, no, I'm not saying that. She goes, you have such passion and there's such authenticity. If you could take the life of being this functioning addict and blend it with the coolness and the sexiness of being an agent, she goes, this book not only become a bestseller, but you're going to save and change lives. Yeah. And I kind of felt my dad's presence when she said that.
Wow.
And she goes, you think you could ask one of your clients to write the forward? Because marketing-wise, that would. I said, there's only one person. I said, yeah, I said, there's only one person I would ask. And so a few weeks later, I'm in Miami with Magic. We had a keynote. And I walked into his room, and sometimes there's a lot of people around, but it was one of those moments, just like when I asked him to sign as my first client in Detroit in 1995. It was just him and I at the hotel. Usually this guy Anthony's in the room, or one of his assistants or executives, and it was just him and I. I said, I got to tell you something. I told him about the book. He goes, oh, baby boy, I'm so happy for you. What's it about? And I told him, and he goes, man, this book, this is going to be your legacy. This is going to help change and save so many lives. And people are going to buy it because you got that coolness of the celebrity thing, but so many people are struggling now. I remember I got choked up because I got to ask him. I said, I need a favor.
You were even getting choked up
sober,
after all these...
Sober, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I go, I got to ask you something. I said, a big favor.
Wow.
I said, would you write the forward for me? Because I knew he hasn't written one. God knows how many years, maybe Larry Bird might have been his last one. And he looked at me, he's like, baby boy, I'd be so angry if you didn't ask me to write the forward.
Man. Wow.
We had like happy tears.
Oh, man. So before the book hits, you started doing some keynoting and started doing some speaking.
Yes.
What was the transition? Because I know with Kevin Harrington, I was like, Kevin, you were behind the camera making infomercials. Now you're in front of the camera and you were edifying and building all these celebrities up in the brand. But now you're asking to be spoken to and keynoting. Talk about that transition. And were you always comfortable out in speaking?
Not when it comes to business, but when it comes to recovery, I can speak to a football field of 100,000 people and feel like I'm speaking to you. It's the most incredible, exhilarating, authentic, passionate time, and I have that moment. I'm a guy that still struggles to be in that moment.
Understand.
But the 4,000 people at a church in Mount Vernon, like I was talking to you a couple months back, the ex-governor of New Jersey, I speak in front of 2,500 people. It is because it's real and it's raw, and every time I speak it, I feel like there's continuously healing, not just within me, for other people.
Yeah.
And but I mix in a lot of the business stuff too,
Yeah.
because people want to be engaged with some of those stories.
Yes.
And I've worked with an amazing coach out of New York City that gave me the structure, where now it's just, I could do it in my sleep.
Incredible. So the book, you go through the book process. Take me through the journey of writing the book and that whole process. That's a journey and probably a healing journey in itself, isn't it? For reflection.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And honesty, authenticity, and keeping it real. Take me through that.
It took me about a year. Kristen McGinnis was my writer. She just celebrated 13 years in recovery herself.
Wow.
And it was just incredible. And we all knew the story was Ali Frazier. We knew that they were the king of kings. It didn't matter what celebrity, what president. There was nobody bigger than Ali and Frazier. I saw everybody and their mother, from Michael to President Clinton to Magic and Cookie. Just, you got those guys in a room. It's a different level of royalty. And I knew that I had this incredible story that my dad always wanted me to tell about Ali and Frazier being in the room to see them make peace with 4 other people. Howard Bingham Muhammad's late best friend, Lonnie Ali, and Marvis Frazier, and my boy Nick, who was with me, Verdasco. And I finally found my purpose to tell that story. And that was the intro to the book.
And that moment when you brought them together, these two icons, and Darren, and I shared with you, I loved Ali, and I love that whole era, Ali and Frazier. But isn't that part of the book? Did you write that the greatest moment, that these two guys, icons together, and you were high? I mean, is that something in the book that you wrote? I mean, I read that, right?
An hour before Smokin Joe and I and Marvis met in the lobby, I was in my hotel room shaking with nerves, snorting Percocets, because I didn't feel worthy for it for a minute.
Wow.
And I kept telling myself, how in the world is this guy, Darren Prince, this Jewish kid from Livingston, New Jersey, have this opportunity where world leaders would give anything? And the crazy thing was, Muhammad and Joe loved and respected me more than I ever loved and respected myself. So I couldn't be fully present for it, but I remember everything about it.
Wow, amazing. The book now getting published, and now it's when you're writing the book and you're going like, hey, this is going to be a bestseller. This is going to, I mean, the magnitude of what's happened.
It was just more therapy at that point. But I was excited, but like my publicist, Jules, when he was working on the initial pitches, he's like, bro, I spoke to Chris Cuomo at CNN. He wants to call you. And I was just, oh, all right. So Chris calls me, and he's like, I'm a big fan of Dennis. You've helped us out on the show. Because Darren, I am a big, big advocate of recovery.
Wow.
And talked about family members and friends, and we were on the phone for an hour and a half. Because do me a favor, I will blow this up for you. Let me have you first. It's like, it's the craziest thing. Chris Cuomo is asking me to come on first.
I get you first.
Yeah, and that's how it started.
Wow.
And then it was just Good Day New York, Good Day LA. Magic and Dr. Drew hosted a big event in New York, and Extra was there, and it's been nonstop. I mean, it was a 1-year anniversary of this book coming out, and they're already into another print, and it feels like it's just beginning.
Oh my goodness! And then now is like you're going to be speaking tomorrow afternoon.
I've got 2. I'm speaking
two
at FIU University tomorrow in Miami, and then Saturday I'm speaking at an event called AmFest that Donald Trump Jr. and a bunch of political people, and then they've also got the second half of the day is about empowering people that have dealt with trials and tribulations of life.
So this journey now is just blown up, and not only continuing to heal and strengthen you and making yourself whole, and now you're contributing back, because that's part of your vision is to contribute back that heals you and strengthens you. This is a whole nother world. What's happening with the sports agency building? Because they're booking Darren Prince and they have the sports agency. How are you managing these two worlds? You just talked to me earlier, you were saying you've got a publicist, you've got a marketing team helping to build your identity with this new world. Talk about this exciting journey.
I told you it was a bit embarrassing because my agents were calling the office like, bro, you got to get like an agency or somebody because we're getting like just as many inquiries for you to come speak at a college, this gala, this function. We want to buy $500 to have Mr. Prince come in and speak. And so I've got 2 speakers bureaus that represent me. Again, it's, thankfully, Prince Marketing Group is successful enough that I'm not one of those keynote speakers where it's always about, I got to get paid. For me, if I'm in the area and I can make a trip, because there's just nothing like seeing somebody's lights come on in their eyes in that audience that was coming probably to just hear some story, but some words came out of my mouth that they found that transition, their darkest days, all of a sudden some light shine on it, and they had the courage to come over to me at the end. What's that worth? It's
you
the
have
greatest
these
feeling in the
masses
world.
of people that you're changing, you're touching, and they're coming up to you after their talks. What does it mean to you to see these hearts that you've touched and helped, and then this whole journey for you?
It's just amazing. I mean, I was one of 200 guests at the White House on October 24th last year in the world that President Trump, politically, I was there for obviously other reasons, supporting this mission that he signed a $6 billion bill, was just incredible. Wow. Just incredible that they have me out there as one of their voices as a national recovery advocate with this opiate epidemic. Because there's not a person in this room or this hotel that we're doing this interview in that doesn't know somebody suffering from it right now. We're losing 182 lives a day in America.
Oh, man.
And I think that's the timing of it too, that my drug of choice was opiates.
So with where you are right now, the difference that you're making, what's your vision now the next 5, 6, 7 years? Or are you more just in the now, just enjoying this? Or are you looking, as this pivoted you, obviously, what's your journey the next 5, 6, 7 years? What are you seeing?
We've got some big marketing, a big marketing firm that's behind us. We're taking this to a whole another level, like around the world with advocacy and just do whatever I can do. Like I said, I have an amazing tie-in as a rep to Banning Treatment Centers. They have 11 properties, and there's just so many people struggling. It never ends. It doesn't matter what I do today. I got to get back up tomorrow and do it again. And Prince Marketing Group, just by itself, is taking care of itself, and business has been busier than ever. Every one of my clients will tell you they've never been happier at the opportunities we're bringing them. I think Magic was the one that told me this. He's like, I truly believe, Darren, when you give the way you're being giving from your heart, because God just can't help but to reward you.
Hey, don't go anywhere, because the Business Zone TV show will be right back, right after this quick commercial break. In the Zone TV has the experience to handle your project from concept to completion and deliver compelling video communication that grabs audience's attention.
Together, we can create a visual message that can dramatically improve your bottom line.
In the Zone TV, video production with marketing power. Welcome back to the Business Zone TV show, which is sponsored by In the Zone TV. When you need video production with marketing power, be sure to check out their website at inthezonetv.com and by hjohnmejia.com. If you're looking to take your business to the next level with cutting-edge media, marketing, and sales strategies, be sure to check out hjohnmejia.com. hjohnmejia.com. All right, let's shift gears in the final segment here. Talk about morning ritual. I mean, do you have like a routine segments? And I know you're traveling a lot, but do you have a morning ritual? Is spirituality, meditation? I mean, working out? Tell me what's the morning like for you?
My day starts off walking my dog. Then I hit the gym for about 30 to 45 minutes, 6 days a week. And usually before 10, 11 o'clock, I hit a 12-step meeting, make calls to my office, maybe before or right after that. And then once I'm back in my place, it's game on. It's all about business. And as those calls come in that people need help with the world of recovery, they need to get into treatment, or a son or a daughter of somebody, or a random message comes in on Instagram or Facebook, we need your help. That's it, man. It's just nonstop.
That strategy, that routine, and then that kind of system is working for you. What about the evening as you're going in? What time do you go to sleep? Are you a better sleeper now? Or are you getting up at 1, 2 still with ideas?
No, I'm a lot better sleeper, and my life is so structured. Everything's so regimented, and
Is that important for your?
I think if I still go to events, but I understand that Darren Prince is not that important. If I go to a red carpet event for an hour and I see all the celebrities or publicists or marketing execs I need to leave after an hour, everybody could do their thing. I'm not that important that they miss me that much. I go, I do what I got to do, and I get back to my place. And life is just so balanced right now, and just to have the ability to deal with life, like I said, is amazing. Because I lost my father in sobriety. I've lost clients in sobriety. I've been through divorce in sobriety. I've been through a broken engagement in sobriety, which was on me, and I'm still very close with my fiance. My ex-fiance. We were just in San Tropez. We're the best of friends. Just things happen, and people change, and it teaches me accountability, and I have a conscience too. So when something's not right, I'm accountable to say, you know what, this is a really good person in my life that didn't deserve to be in the situation that she's in right now because of my work and everything else going on. And
so the problems don't go away. You're just able to deal with them and face up to them, which is great. Someone's watching our show right now, maybe dealing with addiction and maybe trying to get themselves real. They're not, maybe they're conning themselves that they're trying to manage it. What could you say to that person who's maybe watching this interview, is touched by your story, your whole journey? What can you say to that person who may be dealing with that addiction, or maybe they're aware of it, maybe they're not 100% clean with it? What kind of insight can you give?
That the strength comes from speaking up. That's where the courage comes. And I have found my soul on this journey. I have found my purpose in life. Not because of Prince Marketing Group, because of recovery. And you can have a life beyond your wildest dreams, one day at a time, if you just surrender and speak up and tell people what's going on in your life.
If you were to be able to talk to your younger self 25 years ago, 30 years ago, from where you are right now, your journey has been absolutely incredible. It's a privilege and honor to hear this have this conversation with you. If you're taking the time out of your schedule to get together with us, what would Darren Prince today tell that young kid, that teenager, if you had a chance to sit down with them? What would that conversation be like?
Why? I speak that same thing to kids. Why did I have to do it? Why did I need this? Why did I have to put a drug or a substance in my system just to fit in? But now I could say it's going to be okay, because you were given a gift. But the real gift comes from giving it back.
Incredible. And this has been awesome, bro. I really appreciate,
I'm glad we got reconnected.
Holy smoke. Wow, what an absolutely incredible and inspirational story. On behalf of the entire Business Zone TV crew, I'm H. John Mejia, and we look forward to seeing you on our next show. Be sure to get Darren's incredible and inspirational book, Aiming High, and learn more about his incredible journey towards recovery. Just go to Amazon.com and search for Aiming High. That's Amazon.com, and search for the book Aiming High. Also, be sure to help those you know who are struggling with addiction by sharing his book and this complete TV interview.